Hello students, welcome to the series of mathematics lessons. There are two types of arithmetic progressions. The first one is finite arithmetic progressions. Second one is infinite arithmetic progressions. First we will concentrate on finite arithmetic progressions. In these examples we can notice that all the examples are of type finite arithmetic progressions. In the first example, the height of first student is 147 centimeter. The height of last student is 157 centimeter. Here the first term is 147 centimeter and the last term is 157 centimeter. In this case we can count the number of terms in the list since it has got the first term and the last term. In the second example we can notice that the minimum temperature in degrees Celsius recorded for a week in the month of January in a city arranged in ascending order. So in the first day of the week the temperature is minus 3.1 degrees Celsius. In the second day the temperature is minus 3.0 degrees Celsius. On the seventh day the temperature is minus 2.5 degrees Celsius. Here we can notice that we have got the first term and the last term, and we can able to count the number of terms in an arithmetic progression. So this is an example for finite arithmetic progression. Now let us move on to infinite arithmetic progression. In the first example, the first term is 1, second term is 2, third term is 3, fourth is 4, and so on. In this example we have got the first term and we don't know what is the last term. So this is regarded as infinite arithmetic progression since we don't know the last term of the progression. In the second example we can notice that the first term is 100, second term is 70, third term is 40, fourth term is 10, next term would be minus 20, and so on. Here also in this case we can notice that we have got the first term, we don't know what is the last term. So this is regarded as infinite arithmetic progression. All five examples are the instance of infinite arithmetic progressions. The sum of first n terms of an arithmetic progression. Here we consider the problem given to Gauss. Gauss is a famous mathematician. He was given to solve a problem when he was just 10 years old. He was asked to find the sum of positive integers from 1 to 100. Then he immediately replied that the sum is 5050, which is accurate. Let us see how he actually solved the problem. The idea is very simple and very effective. Carl Friedrich Gauss, he is a famous mathematician who made beautiful contributions in the field of science and physics. He is a German mathematician. Say for instance we will take numbers from 1 to 6 instead of 1 to 100. The idea remains the same. If we are able to solve from numbers 1 to 6, we can surely able to solve from number 1 to 100. Here s is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. Now we will write in the reverse order. Actually both are same, which is same like writing 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is equal to 6, and 3 plus 2 plus 1 again, which is equal to 6, which follows the commutative law for addition. Now if we will add both the terms, s plus s is equal to 2 times s, 1 plus 6 is 7, 2 plus 5 is 7, 3 plus 4 is 7, 4 plus 3 is 7, 5 plus 2 is 7, 6 plus 1 is 7. Now we will divide the both sides of the equation, left hand side and right hand side, by 2. The left hand side becomes s, since 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 times s is s. In the right hand side of the equation, 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 divided by 2. Since 7 is common in the numerator, we can take out 7 as a common, and we will add the sum of 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 6. So 7 times 6 divided by 2. If we perform this, we will get s is equal to 21. The sum of first 6 numbers is 21. Now let us verify this. S is equal to 21. The sum of first 6 numbers is 21. So S is equal to 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, 15 plus 6 is 21, which is accurate. Now let us find a general way of doing this. Previously we took from 1 to 6 and we can extend it to n terms. We can take 2 to 100, 5 to 100, 7 to 5000 with a common difference in all the cases. So basically we are finding a general way to find the sum of n terms in an arithmetic expression. We will use the same principle to find the sum of first n terms of an AP. Here A is the first term, D is the common difference. A is the first term, D is the common difference, and the last term is A plus n minus 1D, which we have saw in the previous lecture. So the sum S is equal to A is the first term, A plus D is the second term, A plus 2D is the third term. Finally, the nth term is A plus n minus 1 into D. Now we will reverse the numbers, which doesn't make any difference since it follows the commutative property of addition. Now we will add both S. So S plus S is 2 times S is equal to, now we will add term by term from the both equations, equation 1 and equation 2. Here equation 1 is S and equation 2 is the reversed order of the S. So A plus A is 2 times A plus n minus 1 into D. The same things follows for the rest of the terms till the last term. Now we can factor out 2a plus n minus 1 D out. Since there are n terms, we can write the equation as 2s is equal to n times 2a plus n minus 1 into D. Now divide both sides of the equation by 2. So s becomes n divided by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into D. So the sum of first n terms of an arithmetic progression is given by s is equal to n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into D. Since 2a can be written as a plus a, we can rewrite the sum as s is equal to n by 2 a plus n minus 1 into D. Here we can notice a plus n minus 1 into D, which is nothing but the last term of an arithmetic progression. So we can rewrite the equation as s is equal to n by 2 into a plus the last term. Here the last term is a plus n minus 1 into D. Now let us see the example given in the textbook. Here Shakila put 100 rupees into her daughter's money box when she was 1 year old. Then 150 on her second birthday. Then 200 on her third birthday. Here you can notice a pattern. First year Shakila put 100 rupees into her daughter's money box. In the second year she put 150 rupees. And in the third year she put 200 rupees. Here you can notice the common difference is 150 minus 100 is 50. 200 minus 150 is 50. So the common difference is 50 rupees. Shakila will continue the same thing. How much money will be collected in the money box by the time when her daughter turns to 21 years old? So let us solve the problem. Here A is 100 rupees. That is the first term is 100 rupees. Shakila put 100 rupees into her daughter's money box in the first year. And the common difference is 50 rupees. So there are 21 terms. In first year she put 100 rupees, second year she put 150 rupees, in the third year she put 200 rupees, in the fourth year she put 250 rupees, and so on till the 21st year. We already know the equation. The sum of n terms of an AP is given by n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into D. Now let us plug the values in the equation. The total sum S is equal to 21 by 2 n is 21, a is 100, again the n is 21, d is the common difference 50. When we solve the equation, we will get 21 divided by 2 into 200 plus 20 into 50, which is 1000. Finally, the sum at the end is 12,600 rupees. So the amount collected on her 21st birthday is 12,600 rupees. We don't have to add from first year to 21st year. Instead, we can use this simple equation to find the sum of n terms in an arithmetic progression. The contents of this lesson is borrowed from Karnataka Textbook Society, Bangalore, under Fair Usage Policy. This video is presented by Avari Technologies. Please do hit subscribe button to get more content. Thank you.